Good afternoon. This is Penelope Flynn, along with the remainder of the Blerdsassins Next Door. We've got James, Otto, Sonia, Nikki just jumped in, and so did Cranston. So the gang's all here. Um, James, since you are top center, tell us a little bit about how the weather is in your side of the world.
Okay, it's 65 degrees and partly cloudy. Yesterday was a nice day, and partially today is a nice day.
All
Half
right.
of it, partial,
Okay.
piecemeal.
All right. And how about you, Sonia? How's it going?
It's cooler now. Well, sort of, kind of, but it's a light rain. Supposed to get up to 80 on Tuesday though, and then it
Wow.
goes right back down again.
Okay. And
Oh no, wait! They just said Wednesday maybe 85. They changed the forecast.
wow. Well, what was it going to be before?
Like 60, 66, 68, 68, something like there.
Okay, so
So
that's
it's
a big
going up and down. We're heading on the upswing now.
difference. And Cranston, I know where you are, it's probably a lot warmer than that.
Yeah, we've been doing in the mid 80s all week. Some rain, but it's hot enough that you can't tell it a half an hour later. So we're doing pretty good.
All right.
And today is the first day of hurricane season. So for the next 6 months,
Yay!
FEMA, not
Yeah.
to the rescue.
See, yeah, there we go. Okay, yeah, perfect timing for that nonsense. And Nikki, how was your weather?
Well, today it's been stormy.
Really?
Yeah, today it's been stormy. Yesterday we had some rain, and until Thursday we will have rain.
Wow. Okay.
Why you sound all depressed though? What's going on?
My leg is giving me problems, Otto. My hip.
Okay, it's related
That's
to the
all.
weather. That's what it is.
You're right.
Yeah.
You are right.
Yeah. Okay. And so now,
Okay.
Otto, how's your weather?
Elon Musk was on drugs all the time. Number one. Number
Okay.
two, we are living on the face of the sun, on the sun's surface,
Okay.
and I got an air conditioner that is not working the way I want it to. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
throw this bullshit out and I'm gonna get a new one. God damn it! I'm gonna find
Okay.
something that makes me cool.
Yes. All right. We understand that. Let's
but other than
go.
that,
Other than that, everything's going just swell, huh?
As James would say, peachy.
Yeah.
Except
So
ain't
you're
no
saying
peachy.
it's warm down there?
Man,
Yeah.
you heard what I said. Don't be trying to trip. Man. Let's go.
I'm just saying. It sounds like it's warm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe sweater weather.
Yeah. Yeah. A little sweating. That's what we're doing. It's a little warm here, but I mean it's not that bad for this time of year. It could be worse, you know.
So could hell.
Ah, well,
Yes.
look at it this way: you can make your breakfast outside on the sidewalk.
I tried
See.
that. I tried that as a kid in New York. I got in trouble because it wasn't that hot to do anything. The egg just like just sat there and
Sat
didn't do
there.
anything. It didn't do nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. You got trouble.
Yeah, I'm wasting the egg.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what happens
It's
when you
just
waste.
Texas welcoming Elon back to town, back to the state.
Eh. Meh. He's. I don't know why he's coming here. I don't know.
Bag of
I mean,
drugs.
this.
That's where
Yeah,
his
well,
wife
yeah.
live. That's where like
Uh-huh.
his wife live at. Yeah.
I think he opened up another spaceport somewhere in Texas. So yeah.
So the rockets can blow up with
Yeah,
what?
that's right.
No, they're
Exactly.
not blowing up.
But
They are
What is
rapid,
that word?
unscheduled disassemblies.
Thank you. Thank you.
and the rockets red
Yeah.
glare
And it's what
made bombs in the
yeah,
air.
they did exactly what they were supposed to do. That thing that they did. Wow. All right. Well, with that out of the way, and I'm sure we'll circle back to it eventually. But today we wanted to talk about, dinner and a show. How it is that when we all go out to the movies, one of the big things that we do, we head in is to head to the concession stand. or even if we are doing, movie night at home, what is it that we do when we are, you know, at home and having movie night? Also, those of us who like, and there's some of us that dislike the movie theaters that will serve you a meal. Like for us, I guess the big one is, what is it, Alamo Draft House? What was the other one? I know there's another one, but I mean, Alamo Draft House is the one that's closest to us. That you go in, you order, and I think the mall at Irving Malls uh, theater also, I think, serves food, actual food that they deliver to you while you're sitting there watching the film. So with that in mind, I mean, this is, I guess, a thing that's done in order to increase the concept of dinner and show, date night, that you go to the theater and actually you and your date can have a meal as you're sitting there watching the movie, as opposed to knowing that we're going to go before or go afterward or something like that. And I mean, there are positives and negatives to all of it, but I want to just jump into this. Does anybody not like to eat during the film or during a show?
I don't.
Yes.
I
Yes,
don't.
you don't like to eat during the. I thought you like popcorn, so you don't
No,
like to
no,
eat
no,
it
no.
at
I
all.
don't like that. No, no, I don't like that eating with.
I said eating. Period. I'm not saying eating a meal. Eating. Period.
Okay, okay, all right, ma'am.
I said eating.
Okay.
I didn't say specifically what kind. It was eating. Period. Is there anyone that does
Okay.
not like to eat at all?
From my childhood, my father would take us out to the movies maybe twice a year. And this was during a time when you had, there were three theaters that Black people could go to. They were all like within walking distance of each other. And they always had second run movies that played in the other theaters like 2 years ago. And they're back there with us. And so my father did not want to pay for concessions in the movie theater. So he would have my mother cook a meal that we could eat in the theater. And so
Okay.
we would come into the theater, and of course, the theater, they didn't really care, it's not like nowadays. So we would come in with grocery bags. And for my father, eating was a totally immersive experience. So he wanted these hamburgers, and he wanted them to be hot when they got to the theater. So they had to cook them just before we got there. And he wanted them to be assembled in the dark in the theater. And it had to be done in such a way that the lettuce on it would still be not soggy and crunchy as he ate it.
Oh my lord.
And he'd
Damn,
have
you
my
eat quite a
mother make
lot.
these homemade, yeah.
That's
He'd
too
have my
much.
mother make these homemade milkshakes.
No.
And he was one of those people that when you got to the bottom of the glass,
No.
you sucked up the foam.
Okay.
So I would
But you can't
always
see
make
nothing
sure that I
though.
could sit on the end of our little family row, and I would move a few seats down so maybe people wouldn't think I was
That
with
you-
these people with the grocery bag.
oh my.
So based on that
Damn.
experience from my
Damn.
childhood, no, I do not sneak food into the theater. I take a kind of a dim view of the people who do. And I think the
Wow.
prices are just absolutely ridiculous. And some of the theaters, they have, you can get alcoholic drinks in the theater. You don't even
Yeah.
want to know what the prices on those are. So, no, I will just wait until I can leave and I can go someplace reasonable and get a
But
real meal.
wait a minute though. I got
Yeah.
admonished because I said like eating, like what you're talking
Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
I'm talking about popcorn and stuff like that.
Nothing. You don't even
You don't
like
get
to do
popcorn.
that.
Nope. Not even, I was going to one movie and this guy had this thing that was about the size of an industrial garbage bag full of
Uh,
popcorn, and he was dragging it across the floor just to
no.
dump it in the thing to heat it up and throw that oil butter on it. And I said, no, I'm not going to pay for that. So no.
Wow. So nothing. You go in, you enjoy the show, and then
Hmm.
afterwards you go out and meet with your friends or whatever. I mean, okay, let's put it this way: do you have a problem with your friends, cohorts that are coming in with you? Do you have a problem with them eating while you're enjoying the film?
I try not to pass judgment on other people, and in fact, my my very good friend, Trek buddy and stuff. That's how we met. That we were in the theater, and it was this place where they had rented the theater out during the morning for this church that would have their services there. And we were going to see Cloud Atlas, which is like a 3-hour movie, so we had to get there early. And they were still picking up all of their Bibles and everything as I was coming in the theater. And of course, being a Black person of a certain size and stuff coming in, you can be intimidating just by not saying anything. If it was stand your ground, she might have shot me, but I could see that she was not very careful about it, was trying to be cool about it.
Mm-hmm.
So I got in the perfect Siskel and Ebert place where they said 3/4 up in the theater, in the middle. I was all set. And this young lady came in. So, you kind of see people coming in, and running through my head what's going to happen. And the next thing I look up, and she's sitting a seat over from where I am. And my first thought was, it's an empty theater. And she sits a seat over from where I am and everything. But she's very friendly, so I'm friendly back and everything. And she reaches in this big purse she has and pulls out this sandwich. Says, "You want some of my sandwich?" And I said, "Okay." But I declined and everything. But it turns out that it was she was not crunching her way through the movie and everything and stuff.
Okay.
And we became friends after that, and have been been very close ever since then. And that was 12 years ago or something like
Wow.
that.
Wow.
So sometimes you don't judge people by their behavior or whatever. Just because you don't do it, you don't keep them from doing it. So.
Cool.
She was trying to.
All right.
She was trying to pick your pocket, man.
Okay, yeah, that must be
Check
it.
your pocket. I would never let anybody sit next to me in the movie theater. And
If
start
if
talking
that
to me.
was New York, she would have probably was trying to pick you up.
Yeah, her hand is in your pocket.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there we go.
And you
It's
ain't got no
cynical New
hole in
York
your
guys.
pocket
There
either.
we go.
You ain't got no hole in your pocket.
Okay, that's enough of that now.
Okay, so everybody knows that when it comes to concessions in the movie theater, that's how the movie theaters make their money.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't make their money off of the film itself. They're really just renting it.
Right.
Okay, so that's how they make their money
Mm-hmm.
off of concessions. That's why you got this craziness now, where like there's theaters in New York where you could actually, it's like a couch, like a cot or whatnot that you can lie on and watch the movies, which is totally,
Get out of here.
Yeah.
yeah, down on I think they might have closed, but there was a movie theater down on 14th Street, and I think there's one that still does it, where you go in, you get your food, you order your food, your drinks, and then
Uh-huh.
you go down to the front, and
Uh-huh.
it's like a bed, a cot that you can lie on with your significant other, and lay and watch the movie, and have a waiter bring, your refreshments to
Okay.
you, which I totally find ridiculous. If you're
That's
gonna do all of that, stay
stay
home.
home. Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
can't see. I can't watch Sinners at home. Number one, and then number two, I'm not laying in no bed bug infested car eating popcorn.
Right,
Well,
right.
see
Wow.
Okay,
that
no wonder it
that's
closed down.
yeah, that's the thing about it. I mean, come on, if
Yeah.
they what's the light you use? A black light to see?
Yes.
I guarantee you when they, ran the black light over the cot, it's a lot of,
Yeah. Stuff we don't want to see.
the cot
What the-
had its own movie theater for the germs that
Ah.
were, but
Well,
getting
they
back,
have theaters here where they have
Uh-huh.
these seats that almost recline almost all the way back, and they
Mhm.
vibrate. And so, it's kind of like, and then of course you get the people that come in the store, in the theaters, where they'll sit on the row behind you and then put their feet up on the
I
seats.
can't. I
And
can't.
sometimes they will take
I
off their
cannot.
shoes while they're
I
sitting there.
cannot. I said, oh
yeah,
no, this will no.
So
No,
these are people that you say to
no.
yourself, you really don't get the theater experience, so you don't get out of the house very often. And then they discuss the movie while it's going. What? Who is that? Same guy that came up there before? What's he do? What's he doing there that for?
See
I
that
don't
now?
What did he
See,
say?
mind. I don't mind that at the theater that we if we go to the theater like in Lancaster, which is the one that has the predominantly black neighborhood. I don't mind that at all
well, they
because
don't.
there's things
The
stuff that
black
I
theater
would
though,
ask anyway. Yeah,
Penelope, the black theater experience. They don't ask questions like that.
they
They
just yeah
respond. It's
yeah.
like in Get Out when that white woman was eating a bowl of cereal like that. It's
I mean
like,
that was probably but they spoke to
yeah,
said
put that cereal down.
cereal. Why is she eating cereal?
Yeah,
She's white eating
they don't ask no
cereal.
Well,
questions.
I mean,
Yeah.
for me, it depends on the movie. You know, it's
Uh huh.
like to me the greatest Star Wars movie of all time was, of course, The Empire Strikes Back.
Mhm.
And just before I start, I hope I don't offend any Jehovah Witnesses in the audience or anything.
Mhm.
But no, when it came out in 1980, me and my friends we went to see it, and we had this one friend who had recently converted to Jehovah Witness, so he came along with us, and he sat there and criticized the movie from the beginning to end. Okay, you know, he just well, you know, why is this, why is that, and that's not good, and this and that, and you know, our friends, you know, we were like, well, what the fuck did you come with us for if you're gonna sit here and complain about the movie? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, talking back is the thing. Um, my sister was she could teach a master class in smuggling food into the movie theater because whenever I went to the movies with her, we stop off at the pizza shop and you know we get a couple of slices of pizza and whatnot, and she already brought her big purse or whatever, you know. And at one point, it got so bad with bringing food into the movie theater in New York that they actually, you know, would tell you to open your bag, you know, because they were losing money at that time, you know.
Yeah, they
So
do that. They do that. They do that in Philly too.
Yeah.
oh
Yeah. They did that in Philadelphia when we were there.
yeah, so it when it comes to food, it's like this. I don't have a problem if you buy your goodies at the beginning, okay, because to me that's part of the theater experience. You know,
Mhm.
you get your snacks at the beginning, and then you kind of pace yourself through the movies. You know, you
Mhm.
get your popcorn and your soda and whatnot, and you start off with that, maybe something heavier like a hot dog, but you also have your stuff to carry you through the movie. You know, whether like with me, my personal favorite is the big Uber box of Milk Duds. You know,
Yeah.
yeah, you know, you get the big box of Milk Duds, and you just snack on that through the movie. It's nice and quiet,
Mhm. That's true.
okay. You know, I'm sorry, I just can't get over that with the hamburger Cranston.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Well, the
that's
companion to that is when you're trying to be chivalrous in the middle of the movie, your companion asks you to go back to the concession stand for
yeah.
refills
Yeah. Yeah.
and say,
Yeah,
"Well, there's
that's a big trick. That's a big
and you
trick
want to
because
say,
that's a huge trick because the thing is you get it used to be that you used to get like if you buy a large popcorn, you get a free refill. But who's going to
Yeah.
get up and get? Who's going to go and get it?
Yeah. That's the thing. Who is gonna get up and miss this part of the film to go
mm-hmm,
back and get the refills?
because
And
you're
then you got
not
to
the
hope.
only person in the
Right.
concession line when you get back."
Exactly. Exactly.
Hmm.
Yeah. Who draws the short straw?
and then you're sitting in the middle of the aisle, so you have to navigate through half of the people on the aisle with you to go out and get something and then come back. And it's like 20 minutes later, and you want to say, did anything happen while I was gone?
Yeah, but the worst part is that you go out, you bring back whatever it is you're supposed to get. Then once you sit down, then you've got to distribute everything. And
Yeah.
wherever it is that you're sitting, it's like you may be like halfway, away from everybody. So it is terrible. That's the thing I,
Yeah,
I can't
yeah.
stand.
I had to go through that with my kids. You know, well, a couple of times I would take my kids to the multiplex, the Whitestone multiplex in the Bronx, which actually before that it was the Whitestone Drive-In. And at some point, I prepared myself. I had to get up and get these guys something from the concession stand again, and yeah, that's not good. That's not good at all. 'Cause
Yeah, but I mean, there's some foods that are staples, right? So, um, Cranston's experience notwithstanding, there's like
Mhm.
you go in and it's just like people say, it's part of the movie going experience. You get your
Yeah,
popcorn, you get your raisinettes,
right.
you get your soda.
Yep.
Then you try to march, especially as a kid. Then you try to make your way down the theater, which is at an angle, without spilling the popcorn, the soda, or dropping your raisinette. So it's like a tightrope kind of thing, you know. So that's part of the movie going experience. I don't think, as a kid, I don't think I've ever made it to my seat without popcorn spilling out of my bucket of popcorn. My
well, you
bucket.
know what helps in that is that I don't know about other parts of the country, but I know in New York it helped because 99% of the time the floors in the movie theaters are sticky.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh
So
yeah.
so you
Like
can kind
it's so
of
damn sticky. I feel like I left my shoe behind.
That happened to me once when I was in college and I was walking through a theater, and it wasn't even a black theater, although it was and it was one of the older theaters in near the campus. It was right across the street from FSU, and I was wearing a pair of flip flops, and the floor was so sticky. I took one step, and it popped the whole bottom off the shoe. So
ooh.
Wow. I don't know whether to say that's incredible stickiness or very bad shoes.
Yeah, I mean, in New
Don't
York, it doesn't
know.
make any difference whether it's a black theater or just like a theater on 42nd Street or something like that. The
Uh-huh.
floors are sticky.
Yeah.
People be dropping shit on the floor.
And nobody wants to clean it
They don't
mm,
clean it until after everybody's gone.
at
Cause
the end of the day. Yeah,
yeah,
well,
or beginning of the
or
morning.
next month when they get some new people that don't know that I ain't gonna clean this again, you know. So yeah.
Yeah,
Now,
and especially back in the day with the grindhouses on
mhm.
40 Deuce, you don't know when they were gonna clean
No,
the
and
theater.
and and they sell different. For those of you who don't know, they sell different food. Well, they sell the same food in porn theaters on 42nd Street. But
really?
the only thing is that they don't have anybody selling it to you. So you have to like go to a machine and
Yeah.
get popcorn, hot popcorn from a machine. I don't know why you need to eat to see to watch pornography, but apparently they have these foods that are available to you when you're watching
Yeah,
porn.
that you have a definite point there. And another thing about the porn houses back in the day is that half of the half of the people that are watching them, the majority of people that are supposedly watching, are not really watching the movie. Half the time you have people turning tricks.
Yeah, yeah. Because I was like, why is that woman that looks like a dude almost? Why does she keep going to the bathroom? And then that other guy, some other guy follows her. I don't know what's going on. I'm
Yeah.
watching
Yeah,
The Devil and Miss Jones.
Okay, there we go.
Well,
There we
something that we had that was close to it, and that was in our new 325 how much was it? $250 million main library. They had as a eco feature. They had rooms that, or meeting rooms that that were, the lights were timed, and if it didn't detect any kind of movement in the room after 10 minutes, the lights would automatically shut off. But of course, you can't have, for safety reasons, people sitting in the dark in the building. So you have to go back and tell people to, wave your arms around or something to make sure the lights stay on. So occasionally you would get somebody who would be argumentative, and they would say, "Well, that sounds like that's your problem, not mine." And you would say, "Okay," as you call them all the names you can think of that you can't say out loud, but you're thinking of all. And so there was this one guy that after a while and stuff, after the third time you tell him he has to wave his arms around to turn the lights on, you just open the door because that's enough to turn them back on. So I just walked by, opened the door, and kept going, and the lights came on. And he was upset because he was watching a movie on his phone. And he said by turning the lights back on, I had spoiled his movie watching experience. And I thought to myself, if that's your movie watching experience, is watching a movie on your phone on free Wi-Fi, you really need to re-examine some of your life choices.
Yeah, I'd be like, you know what? Get the fuck out. Get out. Get out. Get out. This is not the place for you. Make a complaint to the chief librarian or something. But get the fuck out. Get out.
Well, I mean, that shows you how far we've come. To watch a movie. I mean, I see it on the subway all the time, which to me is crazy because you're
I think
not.
you enjoy it.
Yeah, and you're not paying attention to your surroundings. That's like the other day going to work on the C train. I'm standing there and there's a Asian fellow watching. He's totally into his phone, and these two kids who I guess they had nothing better to do but get into mischief. They waited until they got to Ralph Avenue, and when they got off, one of them slapped the man in the face.
What?
Yeah, just cold slapped him in the face,
And went out the door.
And went out the door, and he's looking around, and I'm like, see, this is what happens. You don't get your movie your, your movie experience on the train like that. You gotta pay attention now.
No, that's interactive.
Hey.
That's
interactive. There we go.
Yeah, because there was a scene in the movie where somebody slapped the shit out of somebody, so that's what happened to him.
Wow.
Yeah, it's sense around 3D.
Okay, there we go. Okay, but what did you eat when you were watching that happen? That's what I want to ask. What did you eat?
Well, you know what? I get back to the thing. My go-to food, especially as a kid, as a young adult, was popcorn, raisinettes, and a soda.
Yeah, I mean,
some people like Penelope couldn't stand raisinettes.
No, I did not particularly. I liked the goobers, but not the raisinettes.
Oh, I mean, that was tradition with me. That besides the milk duds, was to get a box of raisinettes and a box of goobers, and just go back and forth between the two.
No, I would have the goobers because I like the peanut with the chocolate. When I got older and I could kind of afford, to splurge, I would do the almonds, chocolate covered almonds. That I also like. Milk duds are good too because they, like you said, they last a long time while you're in the theater. What is the other one? I used to like the peanut M&Ms, but they don't taste the same as they used to when we were young. So the shell does not taste the same. So I kind of don't do those anymore. But of course, the popcorn. When our kids were very young, we would kind of take them. It's like, okay, do your thing. So if they wanted hot dogs, or they wanted nachos, or they wanted, whatever else they used to have, the hot dogs and nachos, the things that they used to get. I think for a small amount of time they had pizza, but not very long. But I mean, hot dogs is a consistent thing. Nachos is a consistent thing. And and
which
not
is
the
crazy to me.
drinks. Yeah, and the ices, and
They
the
had
slushy drinks and stuff. Yeah,
they had none of that. But remember going to movies
yeah,
as kids, all they had basically was popcorn, hot dogs, and either a bunch of candies like jujubees or
yeah. Jujubes, which I
raisinettes
did
or
not like, but that was like the candy of last resort. That you couldn't afford anything else, you get the jujubes. And what was the other thing? Um,
soda.
for yeah, the sodas, and then like you say, you get there and they give you like the combo pack, and you would always buy the combo thing because if you got the combo, generally you could come back and get refills on the popcorn and the drink. But then it got to the point they stopped giving the refill on the popcorn first,
Yeah,
and now they don't even give you the refill on the drink.
Well, they'll give you the refill, but it's a smaller container. If you got that
No,
big bucket size thing and stuff for the initial one, the
hmm
refill is going to be half that size.
we don't even get that. It's just you get that. That's
you
it.
don't get nothing.
They stopped giving the refills on
You
drinks
get you get the you
and on
get the
popcorn.
seeds. You get the seeds of
Yeah,
that stuff at the bottom of the
yeah,
popcorn
there you go.
thing that breaks your teeth.
Mm.
refurbished popcorn,
Yeah,
the
Yeah.
but that's all
retrofitted
you get.
popcorn.
Now here's the
Oh,
thing about
Yeah.
popcorn. Here's a question: butter or no butter?
Butter.
Yellow grease or no yellow grease? Yellow grease
yeah. Yellow grease or
or
no
no
yellow
yellow
grease
grease?
because
Yellow grease,
that's not
thank
even
you.
butter. That's
Yes,
not
yellow
even
grease.
butter.
Yes.
So yellow grease. Yeah, and you know what though? I think that sometimes I get it without it, but by and large I would get it with the yellow grease. But sometimes no, sometimes more often yes than no.
And
And
use
then
a
you find
straw
out,
to get it to the bottom of the box.
but
Yeah, I mean
also you find out you don't have enough napkins after you get all the yellow grease
yes,
all over
yes,
your hands. So
yes. That's why sometimes no yellow grease. Depending on what I'm wearing, it's like, you know what? This is
I
gonna
can
be
wipe
a
it on
mess.
you. I can wipe my hands on
Yeah,
Yeah.
my Cranston friend. I can wipe my hands on her.
yeah. He doesn't have
mm,
any food. He'll be fine.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. He's all nice and clean and shiny. He
yeah.
didn't bring any food in with him.
Okay, so yellow. Most people say yellow grease, right?
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
Salt or no
yeah.
salt?
Salt? Are
salt.
you kidding me?
No
Yeah,
salt.
you gotta be kidding. No salt and yellow grease. That's
No
how you do
salt.
it.
Yep.
Wow,
No salt.
wow, Nikki.
Yeah, if your ears start ringing from your blood pressure going up, you knew you got the right proportions.
Okay, thank you, thank
Thanks.
you. But I tell you, the when you were a kid, Nikki, what did you get at the theater?
I just got popcorn.
But remember going towards the lakes, and the lakes always had the caramel
Oh,
corn.
okay, yeah. I
Yeah,
thought you were talking about regular movie theater at the
yeah,
Lakes
yeah.
Mall. We would get
They
the
got
Always
caramel
caramel
corn,
corn.
they got
and it
caramel
was
corn.
always freshly
Yes.
done.
Yep, at the
Always
lakes.
freshly done.
Always.
How can you
Mhm.
tell it was freshly done?
Because it was nice and warm, and you see them.
And they're
You
doing it
see
right
it.
there.
You
They're
see
doing
them
it.
make it.
Yeah. I
They
mean,
put
they had,
caramel. They put caramel on the corn.
I think, as a matter of fact, North Park used to have one. The actual caramel corn place.
I never seen
Yeah,
that
it was
done
downstairs
by.
from the theater. They had their own kiosk, their own little store to make the caramel corn. And
I
it's in
never
a
seen that.
box. And you take
I'm
it in with you.
sorry.
Yeah.
We were
Yeah.
poor, so we had white corn. That's all we had.
Okay.
White,
All right.
white
Okay.
And
popcorn.
what would happen would be, it was a store next door to the movie theater, and I
Exactly.
guess they had a thing with the movie theater that
Hmm.
people could come over and buy the caramel corn
And
and
just take it in.
bring it into the theater instead of just
Yep.
regular
And they let y'all
popcorn.
do that. They let y'all do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, right there. It says right there by the theater. Caramel corn shop is right there next to the theater. So you buy your caramel corn, you go right on in.
Well,
Now
you know
we
they
had
Okay.
don't.
something
Hmm.
before
Here's a
we had.
yeah. Here's a question. When did movie theaters start selling popcorn, and why did they start doing that in the first place?
Tell us, Maestro, why?
I don't know. That's
Well,
why I'm
no,
asking.
popcorn is cheap as hell.
Yeah, it's very inexpensive. So maybe, but why have something that you're eating, like you're saying, watching the film at all? Is that the question?
Yeah. Why do people feel the need? I mean, the experience when you go into a
Hmm.
movie theater, especially back in the day, is that it almost smells like a ballpark, right? So you
Maybe
have this
that's what it is.
Yeah, you had the smell of popcorn and hot dogs. You know, it's like an event almost.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I think back in the day they used to serve the peanuts at the movie theater.
Right.
Uh, so I remember having that. You know,
If anything, the origin it probably could be traced to Harry M. Stevens. Okay, because Harry M. Stevens, he was the one that basically started the thing selling food at the ballparks. Like the Polo Grounds and Yankee Stadium and Ebbets Field.
mhm.
It basically started under him. Harry M. Stevens actually was selling it himself, going you know, up and down the stadium, and then I guess he was like, wow, maybe I need to expand. So
Related to
probably you
that,
could trace it to him and his company.
I just looked online, just a short search, and it indicated that it started during the Great Depression
Hmm.
to
Ah.
start a new revenue stream for theaters. 'Cause I guess
Mm.
people figured I can't, go to the movies. I'm not going to waste the money, but if I can go there and eat at the same time, a whole bunch of popcorn, then why not, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So it became, a revenue stream for movie theaters to serve, food, basically popcorn.
Well, let me
And
ask you this: how many
mhm.
times have any of you guys gone to a movie and not bought any food at all?
Every
Other
Nothing to
than
time
drink,
I go.
nothing to
transient,
eat.
Every time I go.
you never buy.
That's
I'll
no,
eat
that's me a lot
before
of
I
times. I
go
don't.
or after I leave, but I don't want to sit there, eating, licking my fingers while the movie's
Hmm.
going on.
Okay, all right. Boy, he sure takes that down, huh?
Well,
Yeah.
yeah,
Licking my fingers.
he's
Dang.
aesthetic. Yeah,
Ooh,
he's like
yeah,
whoa, a stoic.
ooh, yeah, no joke. And I mean, the way he says it with such
I ain't eating
disdain.
shit. I ain't
He,
nothing. I'm
man, this is what
Mhm.
he's thinking about you. You licking your fingers.
yeah.
It's
Look, I don't
like
think
he's
I've ever
talking
went
like
to the.
it sounds like what
I
is it?
don't think I've ever licked my
Norman
fingers.
Bates.
Yeah.
Watch their thick
I don't think I've ever
tongues.
licked my
I
fingers.
Wow.
despise people
Yeah.
eating
Oh
in the
my
theater. I
God.
despise them.
Wow.
I
Mhm.
don't think I've ever licked my fingers at a movie theater ever.
I know, man. He just takes it
It's
down
like,
there.
damn, that
Woo.
popcorn's good.
Mm.
You know,
Palsy the hand that eats popcorn in the theater.
No
Yeah.
joke, man.
Okay. Other than Cranston, how many people have gone
yeah.
to theaters and not ordered anything?
I mean, you'd have to be like that. I didn't have any money at all when I got there, other than to get my ticket. So I'm trying to think. I'm sure that's
Oh,
happened. I'm sure that's happened in my life that I've gone and not had sufficient money. Like you think you're gonna go up there and buy some popcorn, but you find out, oh, that's like three times more than the money that I have. So no, I'm not getting. Yeah, I think that has happened. That I go thinking that I'm well prepared to go there, get some popcorn and a drink, and it's more than what I can afford. And so
Oh,
I have that's happened.
I
No,
can
it's,
only
it's
think of I can only think of back in the day on 40 Deuce you had three kung fu movies for $1.99,
Hmm.
and we didn't go there. First of all, we didn't trust the concession stand in that theater anyway. And really, we were smuggling in our quarts of Old English 800
Oh
and
Lord.
loose joints. So
so you ate though.
But you just did. You brought in your own.
nah, we just brought in our beer.
Okay. All right.
And maybe before that, it was one theater before you went in. They had a little hamburger stand
Mm-hmm.
on the sides, and it was like I think two hamburgers for $1, and you kind of wondered what that was. That really beef, or was that
You don't even think
you know?
about it. Don't even think
Yeah,
about it. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, but I remember once we were in school in Philadelphia that Otto and I decided we're going to go to the movies and we're going to go to the was it Burger King across the street from the theater and get it's our food, a Whopper and fries. We would put it in my purse and bring it in. Oh my gosh! I mean, yes, Whopper and fries is all very good. It is not movie food. I just want to let you
No,
know.
it's
So
not.
Cranston, I
No.
do understand
Mm.
Well, let me
position.
tell you. Let me tell you why it's not movie food. Number one,
Mhm.
it's like you're trying to get the hamburger and stuff, the burger, and
Mm.
it's in that crinkly paper, and you had no idea
Yes.
how noisy that paper is
Yes.
until you try to open and get to it. And so,
Yes.
and with my hamburger, I always like extra ketchup, so I got extra ketchup on it, right? And I
Mhm.
put ketchup on my fries. By the time I leave
Mhm.
that theater, my shirt looks like a Picasso painting.
Mm.
There's so much shit on my shirt.
Yeah. It's like, what are you
It's like a
doing?
red and a yellow and a
All over the place. Yeah. So
it's
yeah,
all over the
that's
place, and it's so much noise, and it's
yes,
and
the
and, and the
noise,
food and the food that you're eating smells different than what
what they're
the
serving
food
there.
the other people are eating.
Try that with Caribbean food.
Yeah, probably. And there was,
My,
what is that?
yeah,
What are they
my
eating?
mom had a bag that was better than Mary Poppins' little bag of holding. And we put a whole meal in there, and then she'd wait for like the action series, and that's when she'd start digging in to cover up the sound.
Yeah, yeah.
She'd buy herself a hot dog and a Dr. Pepper,
And then have the rest of her
and then
stuff.
have the rest of her meal.
That
I
makes
said,
sense
wait a
to
minute,
And
me.
then
Yeah.
you guys didn't get that food from here.
Are you sure?
It
back then
smells
they didn't.
differently.
Back then they didn't care much. Now,
Yeah,
because they're so
because it's their
dependent on it.
right. It's their money. This
Well,
their
I had
revenue.
a I had a coworker who dated a guy that whenever he would invite her out somewhere, and it was almost like he had the playbook that said what's the wrong thing to do, and that's what he would end up doing. Like if he would invite her out to lunch, they would go to a fast food restaurant, no choice of which one you went to, and he would start digging through his glove compartment and say, "Which coupon do you want?" So
He do
they
that on
went to,
purpose.
yeah.
Wow, maybe he wanted to break up.
No, he was going to pay for it. So hey, which coupon do you want? So
Wow.
we went to a movie, so she didn't mind that he did not give her an opportunity to pick the movie, and she didn't mind it was going to one of these. You kind of miss these aftermarket theaters where they would
Hmm.
take movies just before they hit video, and you go in for like $1 for something you didn't see
Yeah.
back in March, but hey,
Hmm.
now in May or June you can see it for $1. So she didn't mind that that was the movie, and that he picked the theater. So they get in there, get a seat, and he said, "Do you want something from concessions?" And she said, "Well, I'll Sprite." And he says, "Well, what about a Coke?" He says, "No, I wanted a Sprite." So he went back and forth and everything. So finally, he says he's going to come back with a Sprite, and he comes back to with a Sprite, and this is a small Sprite, and this is a movie small Sprite,
Wow.
and two straws.
You got to be kidding.
Fuck out of here.
Okay.
No.
Okay. I'm sorry. I no. Just so you can't afford to date.
Mm,
This is what it comes down to. You are not in the position to be able to afford to date.
Oh, he's definitely who they're singing about. Black Ivory, I'm the loneliest man in town. Got
yeah.
to be. Wow.
Yikes. Yikes.
Didn't he
Wow, man.
realize though that Coke and Sprite were kind of interchangeable since it's the same company?
One's
Well,
black,
he
one
probably
is
Uh,
didn't want to
clear.
drink
One's
the
brown, one
Sprite.
is clear.
He probably wanted to drink the Coke.
he
And
wanted the
so he tried to
Coke. Yeah.
convince her to drink the Coke so that he knew they were going to have to share it. So he wanted to convince her to drink the Coke. She didn't
Yeah.
want a Coke, she wanted a Sprite.
Or Penelope,
Hmm.
you go to the theaters in the hood, and you get to mix. You ask the brother to mix them. Like
Yeah, yeah.
they get the Dr Pepper, and you mix it with the cherry Coke.
Oh,
Yes.
you don't even have to do that anymore.
Because
Now
now
if
you do
you
it
go in,
yourself.
yeah,
These
you
are
could go in
freestyle machines. Yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
freestyle machines.
Hmm.
Yeah, but now the only thing I sneak into the movie theaters is water, because I
Yeah,
refuse to pay
to
five
pay
dollars
for
for a
water.
bottle of damn water.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Everything
that's
else I
crazy.
buy. Everything else
Hmm.
I buy the hot dogs, that stupid
Yeah.
combo that
They're
you need to
overpriced
take a
stuff,
loan out for.
except for water.
Except I
That's too
refuse to
far.
pay $5 for a bottle
Yeah.
of Aquafina.
Yeah. Especially
But
when I go when
Poland
we go
Springs.
yeah,
Yeah,
when we go to our theater in the neighborhood, the one that's out, um I absolutely understand the necessity of paying for the concessions because
oh,
they give so
absolutely.
many young black kids jobs.
Absolutely.
So I
I
absolutely go
pay
there
for it,
and I
but
buy,
I'm
and I
not gonna
don't, and I
pay.
don't care, and I pay
But
for
I'm
it.
not gonna pay that much money for
But
water.
not water. No, we cannot pay for the water. But
No,
if we take
no.
that, but everything else,
ten
they're
dollars for a buck.
overpriced.
$10
You
for a
know,
bucket of popcorn.
yeah,
No
we pay for the.
refills.
Yep, we pay for their overpriced popcorn. I pay for their overpriced candies that you could buy at the store on your way in for a lot cheaper. But you know what? I know that this is the money that they get that gives jobs to these kids. So that's what I pay because that's what it's for, and I think it's worth the money. It's worth
Yeah,
the
yeah,
spending.
you're looking at the big picture there.
That's right.
What
Just
I
like you said,
don't
but just the
like,
water, just we cannot do it with the water
I
though.
can't. I can't deal with the water like that. That's
Mm-mm.
ridiculous. It's just water.
Yeah, and they make you pay a premium for it. They
What I
give you that
don't
nice
like,
salty popcorn
yeah.
and make you have to come there. Can I some water, please?
What I don't like is what I don't like is the places like the Alamo Draft House that serve you food.
Yeah, that's a dumb. Is there anybody that does not? I mean, Cranston, present company, we
Mhm.
know excluded. Is anybody that does not like when the theater actually serves you your food? Like you go, I mean, we go up to the counter, you get your concessions, you take them back to your seat. But is there anyone that doesn't like it when you go to your seat? They give you the menu, you choose your food, and they deliver it to you during the film.
Like a dinner
Um,
theater or something.
yeah, is there anybody that does not like that?
No, I don't think
Mm.
When
that's a good idea.
yeah, but
They
when
need
I
to stop.
when I went to one, you had to be there at least 30 minutes before your film. Get your order in 30 minutes before your film, so that they delivered it just before the previews.
See,
Interesting.
but
That's why they don't
again,
care. They're you're doing the film.
there's there should there should be a wall that should exist into perpetuity between stuff like that. Okay, I can see you being at home, eating a
Hmm.
meal, all of that there. I can see that. But going to the movie theater to do that,
Yeah.
Well, that's
that's
what they used to
I
do
would like to
down
say,
in Shakespeare time. You used to go and you'd bring your food and watch the play.
well,
Yeah,
you
but you
yeah,
know,
know
it'd be like a
what?
dinner and a
God
show,
bless God
and-
bless Shakespeare, but this is a different
But
thing.
yeah,
I
No,
kind
it
of like it
doesn't.
sometimes to have
no,
the
they're
I
dinner
bringing
don't
and the
get
you,
it.
show thing.
they're
But
bringing
but
you.
also I have to admit that I like also when we go, like your friends, we all go to the theater and we, see whatever it is that we're gonna see, and then afterwards you sit down and you eat and you talk about it. So
Yep.
that's
Afterwards.
another thing.
Yeah,
I kind of prefer that, to go there, just eat your theater snacks.
yeah.
Then afterwards, you're gonna sit down,
But
for a meal with your friends, whoever you saw the film with,
yeah, talk about
and
the
talk
film.
about it. You know,
Yeah, but that's different than somebody bringing you a plate of spaghetti and meatballs in the middle of the.
right, right.
It's like, come
Because
on, man.
because even I know, like when we go on vacation, if we go see a film, we see the film, then we go back, to home with the place where we usually rent a place to stay, and then dinner that night is that the dinner we're talking about what the film was that we saw.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you that
Yeah, that's
that
different.
discussion,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's different than the food being
yeah,
served and they
Mm.
bringing
yeah.
all this food and then they bring you a bill for the food in the dark. I can't even see the bill. They took my credit card and then I come back like, what the
Mm.
fuck happened? Like
Yeah,
I spent like $150 on some
yeah,
some dried chicken wings and a so-called alcoholic drink.
Uh,
It's like the weakest drink I've ever had in my whole life.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Because you
it's
figure
different.
that they know you have to
Different.
drive,
But why are you
so
charging me? Why are you charging me for the cost of a mixed drink when it's not really a mixed drink? Why charge me the same? There's no shot of whiskey in there.
I mean, yeah, I mean it may be, but it's just really, really, really weak.
It's the
But I
weakest
wonder,
thing.
but I wonder also if it is actual liquor or if it's like that stuff like Ritual, which is a fake whiskey, fake rum. Um, I don't
Then
think they
why
do
charge me
vodka yet,
then why
but
charge you the same amount for martinis?
right, right, right.
Yeah.
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 What is it? Southern Comfort and the
Hmm.
company that makes that cinnamon stuff. I,
Fireball.
Fireball.
yeah, yeah. They actually got in trouble because of that. Cause see, when you see it in the store behind the
Hmm.
counter, that's a malt beverage. That's
Hmm.
not the actual Southern Comfort. Okay, so yeah, that's another pet peeve of mine.
Mm.
Again, I just feel that you can do all of that in the house. You know what
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm saying? In the comfort of your own home. You're supposed to be having a movie going experience. Okay?
yeah.
And
And I was going to ask you. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I was thinking about candy, right? That you get in the movie theater. But did you notice that most candy at the movie theater leans toward chocolate stuff? I can't think of any candy that's like hard candy that they sell in the movie theater.
Jolly Ranchers.
They have those.
Yeah. But you know
I
what?
never.
I'm afraid to order. I've always been afraid, even as a kid, to order chocolate almonds, because I could just imagine me choking on one, and then people
Oy
finding
vey.
out that I'm dead after the lights right come on.
Okay. All right.
ah,
Okay.
No,
okay.
nobody knew to save me because they couldn't see. I was
Yeah.
choking.
Okay. Okay.
The,
That's
the light the lights come on and your head is back and your eyes just open.
yeah.
He's
Okay.
dead. He's dead, everyone. He's
Okay.
dead.
That's lovely. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah, but I don't. But I don't know if we asked you, Nikki, what is your favorite candy? I know we asked you what you ate, but any candies that were your favorites?
Mm,
Excuse me.
I would do the M&Ms. That's
M&M.
about it. I don't like jujubees. I don't like the sugar babies and all that stuff, or
Sugar
sugar
babies.
sugar
Yeah,
daddies and all
sugar
that.
dad, sugar baby. You remember that? It's like they're like milk duds, sugar
Yeah,
Yeah.
babies.
I don't like milk duds.
Hmm.
But M&Ms, but it has to be the peanut.
Yeah, yeah. I'm
Oh,
looking at the peanut M&Ms.
not the plain M&Ms with no peanuts
Mm-mm.
in.
Just the
Plain
peanut.
M&Ms.
I
No, just
said
peanut M&Ms.
peanuts.
What
Only
about
peanut
almond
ones.
joy? Almond
Oh
joy and
yeah, almond
You know
mounds.
what?
joys and mounds and
As of
almond joys
Now,
the best. Hmm.
right now, I will eat those. They're not my favorite, but I will eat those now. But back then, I didn't like those mounds nor
Oh
almond
man, I
joys.
liked it at the movie theater because they served them, unlike other places, in the box, and it's like one almond to one little thing amount of chocolate and coconut. So you open it up, you pour it out. It's like one little almond on top of like this little bed of chocolate
Yeah.
and coconut. So yeah, I did like the ones they served at the movie theaters. Those were great.
I mean, was there
Mm,
anything in the movie theaters that you could buy as a concession that you couldn't get outside a movie theater?
no.
I can't think of anything except, like I said, like with the mounds that they served in the movie theater in the box. I mean, the almond joys and mounds that they served in a box was like the one little round thing with one little almond on top instead of having the two connected that they have in the packaging that you get at the grocery store. So
Yeah.
yeah, only the packaging may be a little bit different, but I did like that. And
You know.
what's the other Nestle's Crunch? Remember they used to
Oh
make
Hmm.
the Nestle's
yeah.
Oh
Crunch
yeah, I
ball
like
things,
that
and
too.
they're like in a
Oh
box,
yeah.
and they come out. Yum yum. Those are good.
Oh hell yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, those are
Yeah.
good. So I
Yeah.
did like
Yeah,
that.
but you could before you for home you'd have to buy them in bulk, so you had the big bag full, and the box was just for you. So that
Yeah,
made it
but
feel
I never saw those
Me either.
until much later. The Nestle's Crunch, they serve like their little balls of
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
crunch.
Those are
Yeah,
good.
and you in a box. I
hmm
never saw those served at a store. I never saw them
No, me either. And
sold
and
like that.
to be
Hmm.
honest, the size raisinettes they used to serve in the movie theaters, you couldn't get those outside of the movie
Yeah,
theater.
yeah, they don't serve them that size.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Junior mints, also junior mints
hmm
in the box. I order those.
yeah,
Oh, I
like
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 junior mints
Sonya
too.
said, it was
Yeah,
you had the thing where you felt it was just for you. That was part.
yeah,
That was also part of your movie going experience. You know
exactly,
that
exactly.
And
you
then
go to
Dollar
cause
Tree started selling them, and my mom started putting those in her bags instead of the Caribbean meal.
yeah. Well, there you go.
Hmm.
Yeah.
There you go.
But you know what though? I think someone mentioned Southern Comfort.
Hmm.
That's a good idea. You get one of those ices the icy drinks that they have, and put
Pour
a
your
shot of Southern
own.
Comfort in it.
Yeah, get that
Man,
the little
that
things you get from the airport. Those little
yeah,
bottles,
yeah,
and pour those in there.
that'll make the movie an enhanced experience.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, well, it would have to be from the airport because again, you go into these stores in these bodegas and they sell the malt
Yeah, I
version
don't
of
want no
it.
malt liquor.
Hmm.
No,
Yeah,
I don't want no.
it's not gonna give you a buzz. It's
Right,
not
right.
gonna
No,
give
I
you
mean,
a
That
buzz.
I remember back in the day going to movie theaters, and I didn't need any sort of narcotics whatsoever because I would get a contact high.
Oh yeah,
There
Yeah.
was so much weed being smoked that
go
I
up in
would
the
come out
balcony
more
section.
inebriated than when I went in.
Yeah, go up in the
Wow.
balcony section and you get a contact.
Wow.
I knew what marijuana smelled like way before I actually knew what the substance was, even with my Caribbean family, for that very
Mhm.
reason.
Hmm.
Going to
You
the
didn't know
theater and that
Hmm.
and immersed in smoke.
immersing
Wow.
ganja,
Uh-huh.
immersing ganja. Yeah, those were
Yeah,
the days.
but I know we said so a lot of people don't like it when you go in and have the food served to you. Does anybody like having the food served
I
that you
didn't
go in?
mind. We had in Tallahassee Mugs and Movies that
Hmm.
before it went away.
What's it
And
called?
that's Mugs and Movies. It was the
Mugs and
first place to get alcohol, and then they slowly added more food because they realized how drunk people were getting, so they should probably serve them food to slow down
Yeah.
Mm.
Well,
or
yeah.
make. And then I went to an Alamo when I went to South by Southwest, and I was like, "Oh, this is great!" But you had to be there 45 minutes to 30 minutes beforehand so that they could deliver your food to you before the movie started.
What's
Not
interesting
in,
is I know nowadays they just whenever it's ready, they just
nah.
bring it to you. They
Yeah,
Hmm.
just whenever you order it, they just bring it.
they be walking around like waiters
Yeah, yeah.
in the dark. I don't know how they
Hmm.
do it, but
And they have their little lights that they shine
yeah.
and
No, you
yeah,
press a you press a
cultures.
button. You
Yeah, I
press
mean,
a
yeah.
button.
What's the things they send you the thing that buzzer thing, and they know where you
Hmm.
are, and they
Yeah.
come with their little lights and then serve
Yeah,
you
it's real
whenever.
automated now.
Yeah, whenever, and then like you can reorder stuff and all that. It's
But once
really
again,
interesting.
Penelope, I
Hmm.
can't see the bill in the dark. I don't know what the hell what my bill is.
Yeah, yeah.
I
So
feel
Mm.
like if I try to leave without paying, that they have these things in the seats that grab you and
yeah,
keep you.
and hold you there.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, sir. You have not paid your bill.
yeah.
And I think though that sometimes if it is something where you're maybe a first date or something, it might be a nice thing, you know, to do your
Let
dinner
me
and
ask you this.
intro while you're there. You
Let me
know.
ask you this. If you're on a first date
Mm-hmm.
and you buy a thing of popcorn, but you only buy one big bucket, would you feel comfortable having your date do that thing like what, lick their fingers or whatever, and then dip their hand back in the bucket of popcorn?
I know.
Nope. Uh-uh.
No, I would not.
Uh-uh.
I would not like that. I don't think.
So
I
why is this
think.
popcorn wet? I didn't order this, but
Yeah, I don't think. No, I think I would
Uh-uh.
not like that. I think, yeah, buy me my own. We both have our own thing. But they have that thing that we're both reaching into the thing together to get our popcorn. Blah blah blah. You know that
No,
shtick.
it's one of those social situations you just don't think about it. Saying, okay, I'm not gonna think about this, So
Hmm.
it's like
Maybe
double
that's
dip.
when, maybe that's when you don't put anything but salt on the popcorn, so that you don't have that issue of
Now we gotta
having
get
yellow
separate
grease.
buckets.
Yeah, yeah,
Separate,
yeah,
separate
yeah.
buckets to get popcorn. We're
Separate
not
buckets.
sharing.
Well, that's why they
Okay.
have different flavorings now, so that you get your flavor, I'll get my flavor,
Right.
and you
So
But
don't have to
you
touch
wouldn't
my
buy
bucket.
one large bucket of popcorn and share it with your date.
well, I mean, I think like first date, no. But again, if you have already, gone out with a person and you're already dating, who cares? But I think first date, no. I I think yeah, the first date.
Or
now
your hand touch.
if you're gonna kiss them good night, you say, hey, in for a penny, in for a pound, whatever. So
Yeah, but you don't know what's gonna happen at the end of the date. So you got
yeah,
Exactly.
like your hand gonna
Exactly.
touch their hand, and you're in the popcorn. It's like, get your damn hand out of my popcorn.
Right. You
So
say,
even if your date's job title is cleaning septic tanks, you
you know what? You are a real jerk.
That's disgusting. That's
Really.
disgusting.
Yeah,
That's
but he's probably
disgusting.
got better. He's probably got better sanitation habits than some doctor or something or other, because he knows what he's putting his hands into.
mm.
I don't know.
but
Y'all spoiled the movie going experience right now.
Yeah.
hey,
This is
okay.
nasty. This is nasty. But I don't like the Alamo Draft
Lean
House.
more toward concessions. Going in,
Yeah.
getting your concessions. Take your concession stuff in with you, even if it's a hot dog. Even if it's the nachos or
Which I
stuff
don't
that you have or
the thing
taco.
is that I don't understand eating hot dogs at movies or nachos.
A lot of people do it though.
I know they do it. They do a lot of stuff at movies. I don't like it.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
but
the thing is that it always smells better in the movie and stuff. Like you can't
yeah,
you can't wait for this, and then I look at the price and say, look, I can get a whole package of hot dogs for
Right.
what
yes,
it's
And that's my
yes.
going
question.
to
But
cost.
that's the thing. You got to think of it as an event that you're
Yeah.
doing this.
But my
It's an
question is
event.
this. My question is, why are they priced so high?
I think because again,
No,
we're
that's
looking
how.
at it's just the food, but they're attaching to it the fact that somebody's got to serve it to you.
Yeah.
That this is a
No,
service
I mean,
fee.
if I
You know,
stand in line and I buy a thing of popcorn, right,
yes,
and it's like X number of dollars, why am I paying so much money for that?
That's how they make their money.
But
Well,
can't they
that's
pay
how
That
they
less
make their
money?
money, and because you don't go to movies every week, if you go to
yeah.
like two
right,
movies a month, and you
yeah,
said, well, that's just cost of doing business or
right,
whatever, so you just kind of write it off like that.
Yeah, it's like again the movie going experience is it's a special event in your
right,
life because you're
right,
going to see a movie that you want to see or or you've seen you want to see again.
right.
So it's part of that movie going experience. So they know this, okay? So that's why the prices are so high. And again, they don't make it off of the movie. They don't make money off
Hmm.
of the movie
Mhm.
itself. They're renting. Okay,
Right.
it's the concessions that they make the money. That's why the multiplex used to sell, besides concession, food concession, they used to sell souvenirs.
Hmm.
Okay, they used to sell T-shirts, um, toys, this and that, and this and that, because that's how they make their money, and in a way, I can kind of understand why people go to certain movie theaters to get served food because
Hmm.
it's an experience.
Right. And
Okay.
I would think, yeah, because again, you're watching something and then you're eating something, and it's like that whole sensory experience of sound, taste,
Right.
texture, all of it mixed in together. So it's like they're trying to offer you this complete sensory experience.
Yeah.
And
I mean, Otto, you know about the Ziegfeld. Okay.
Yeah. Hmm.
You go to the Ziegfeld Theater in New York. That was an experience because they had just started with the Dolby sound system.
mm,
Okay, and I remember going to see Apocalypse Now at the Ziegfeld, and the sound was incredible. I mean
And the
the
screen.
the
hmm
screen. I remember the part where what's his name? Frederick Forrest, I think his name is. He goes off the boat. He says, "I'm gonna get me some mangoes," and you actually hear the tiger coming up behind you
oh my
in the
goodness.
back of the theater.
Um,
You could hear the tiger. You could hear its breath is breathing. So
wow.
yeah, it's an experience. Just like
Yeah, I remember seeing Superman 2, right?
hmm
And there's a scene in the White House where I said Gene Hackman or Zod, they come in and they start
Hmm.
shooting and stuff, and so the gunfire is off to one side, and then there's gunfire on the other side, and
hmm
it's like a true stereo. It's
yeah.
really an excellent experience. But I also remember going on field trips to places like Radio City Music Hall, and you ain't bringing no food in there. That
Oh no, no.
you just sit there and watch the movie, and
Hmm.
and then get the hell out.
Yeah.
You ain't eating no food.
Okay. No, your experience is on the screen. That's it.
Yeah, you're not gonna.
Yeah.
As kids, I don't remember whether they had a place to buy popcorn or whatever, but we were not allowed to bring any food in there watching any of the movies. We went there as on a field trip,
Wow.
which was okay
That's
with me. I'm fine. I mean, I'm fine with it. I got a liverwurst sandwich in my bag, so I just
okay.
There
The-
you go. Yeah.
yeah, the word savage. My
What? You
favorite.
hung out with my mom with that liverwurst sandwiches?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, your mom hung out with my mom because that's the only thing I
Mhm.
got was liverwurst sandwich. My friends just said, "Oh God, that's disgusting," and I said, "Shut the fuck up. It's good."
That's right. That's your thing. You
That's
enjoy
right.
it.
That's right, and I did. But that I don't think when we saw Sinners, Penelope, I don't think we bought anything to eat.
I'm trying to think.
I don't think we did.
Wait. Let me think.
We saw Sinners and we went right past the concession stand and directly into the theater.
Yeah,
As a
because it was
matter
like,
of
because I
fact, when,
think there was a line. I didn't want to go stand in the
yeah,
line.
but the thing that I like, there's certain places where the movie experience is better than others. Like
Yeah.
the places that we go to see movies, it's like you buy your tickets,
Hmm.
no one checks your tickets, and no one's standing there to tear your tickets in half and none of that. You just go.
Yeah. I mean,
And
if you go to the
I
theater
love
here,
that.
it's
As
like
opposed to New
one
York
person.
City,
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
opposed to New York
Like,
City or Philadelphia, I feel like I'm taking a flight to Berlin. It's like I'm checking my bags, they're patting me
yeah.
down,
Yeah. But
they they
yes, that you
they,
go
they
in and
tell
you
me to
say,
spread them
yeah,
and stuff.
yeah. I mean, you go to the door. You say, oh, yeah, my husband's buying the tickets. They let you in, so you can go in and get your concessions. So by the time the person is out of the line, because there may be a long line outside, the time they're out of the line buying their tickets, you're already in the concessions line, already
I
getting
hope
your
that never
stuff.
ends. I
Yeah,
hope that never ends.
I love
That's
it.
one of the pluses.
Yeah, I love it at night when you go to the theater at night. After usually at the daytime, they have the concession stand open in the front, but at night they have all the concession stands opened behind. So it's like in the daytime, it's like you've got to go get your concessions, then you go hand your ticket. But at night, you could go give your ticket, and then there's like three concession stands
Mhm.
inside where the theaters are,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
I love that having the theater
and
that's like,
and
and it's right outside the theater, so it's not like I got to run all the way back down if I
yeah,
want any refills. No, you just come right outside your theater. Like for every three theaters, there's a concession stand. You know,
and the other
I love
thing is
that.
this: your ticket to one movie is your ticket to all movies. Cause
Yep.
so it's like you can run up and down that corridor and
Yeah.
go to all those theaters from theater one to theater 12.
14 to
If
Yeah.
you had a lot of time, you could see all those movies, and no
Yeah.
one's
And the
going to
thing
stop you.
is, you know what? Because all they care about is like, are you buying the concessions as you're staying there?
Yeah, I
You
love
Mhm.
know?
that. I hope that never stops.
Yeah. It's great. It's great. I was sitting remember the time that we saw the film was the devil, and it's kind of like I want my money back
Yeah, it's
because this
garbage.
film is such garbage, and so can't have money back. So fine, I went back in and saw another movie. Like I get my money's worth. This is ridiculous. We saw
And what was that
Salt.
other stupid movie with Will
Salt.
Smith? Will Smith was in
Oh, that's what you all saw. And was it who Hanover? What's it called? What's it? Hancock.
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 Yeah, and you all saw that film, and you're like, "What?"
Let me get
If
the
I,
hell out of here. I'm going to see
yeah,
Batman.
and
What
then
was it?
came we
Batman
watching
Return.
Batman. So they left that theater and came to watch
Mhm.
Batman with us in the other theater because basically, oh, no, this is not working out.
And nobody gives just
No,
like James said, nobody gives a damn about your tickets, really.
no. But once you get in, man, they don't care. But then
All
buy
they
those
care about your
concessions.
concession. All they care about
Buy
those
those
concessions.
concessions, and I don't mind doing it. If I'm going to be there for the duration. Right. Well,
Well,
guys, I look at it. Yeah, go ahead. Somebody, one more.
well, I think always, talk about the concessions. They're so expensive.
Mm-hmm.
You look at the price of them. Like a hot dog costs like what's the price of a hot dog now in the theater? Like seven
Like
dollars or
six
something.
dollars.
Yeah, if that little.
I feel that's too much money.
It is,
And
but basically, it's underwriting the cost of paying the individuals who have to work there.
that costs. How much does a ticket in New York City cost now? A movie theater ticket.
I don't
Anybody
know.
know?
Have you been lately, James? The cost of a movie theater ticket?
I don't know if he hears us.
Uh,
Or maybe he's on
You
mute.
did.
Oh, the
he is
last
muted.
time,
Yeah.
yeah, the
Oh,
last time I took my kids to the movies, I guess I hate to date myself, is when Thor was out.
Which
Okay.
which Thor?
The first one.
Okay.
when was the last
Yeah. Now
movie that you went
I've
to?
been to movies, but they weren't um movie. They was like documentaries. You know,
Okay.
last one I saw was I guess maybe 2 years ago, 3 years
Hmm.
ago. Chick Webb
How
was
much was
there.
the ticket?
So nah, it was free. It was at the Schomburg.
Okay.
Okay.
So the last time you remember paying
Officially
for a ticket?
was the first Thor, 3D, and I
Mm-hmm.
took my kids. In fact, they would still kids. Basically, they
Mm-hmm.
weren't adults, I guess.
Because I'm looking now, and it seems here a lot of places it's about 14.50, to go to an adult ticket, $14-15 for an adult ticket in Dallas.
What
Um,
about New York City? Because
I forgot
I know there are
Studio
places
Movie
in that.
Grill.
I know there are
Studio Movie
places
Grill
here.
was the other one. That I forgot. It's the Alamo Draft House. And Studio Movie Grill was the other place that serves food. There we go.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think New York City is between $12 and $14, because
Mhm.
again, COVID kind of put a
They
serious
slow their
damper.
roll. Yeah, they
Yeah,
slow their roll
yeah.
on
Because
those
cause
So
I know
tickets.
movie tickets, even here and elsewhere, and in large cities like Houston and Philly,
Hmm.
they were like $20. And someone
Yeah,
told me,
they
yeah,
charge a lot.
that's how much tickets are. They're $20 now.
Yeah, because I see now standard tickets now they're about $15.
And
You
I
know.
couldn't imagine paying that much money for a ticket back in the day.
no,
Yeah,
that
I thought it'd been
yeah,
insane.
yeah,
Mm.
that was insane. That was
And now
insane.
it said, but it was more than that right before COVID. It was a lot more than that because I was like, $20 that you want you to
For a
pay to
movie.
come into the
Yeah.
movie theater? I
Yeah, you're
mean,
not buying no
you
concessions,
can't
man.
afford to buy concessions. You can't afford to take your children. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, I
Yeah, well,
mean,
So,
that's the situation with a lot of entertainment. I mean, back in the day, the cheapest form of entertainment, you went to the ball game, baseball.
hmm,
Baseball
not
was
anymore.
not anymore,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know. And I think with New York City, the main movie theater is AMC, okay, on 42nd Street. Then there's a theater which I keep saying I'm gonna go down to on 86. But yeah, COVID killed a lot of theaters in New York City.
Hmm.
Oh my God, the multiplex in the Bronx off the concourse, they had to close down. I think they're trying to reopen it, but they had to close down because COVID was killing it. Plus, teenagers used to go in there and run amok in there.
Also, how do you contribute that also to like a lot of bad movies? Because there've been a lot of junky ass movies, to be honest.
Yeah. I think a lot of people wait for the big tentpole films that come out during the summer, to be able to, go for dates and stuff like that.
Which, which, since we're talking about that, they're bringing Jaws back to the movie theaters on a
So I
limited
saw
basis.
it was 50th anniversary.
50th anniversary.
Yeah, but who's gonna go watch that? Who's gonna watch that?
Are they gonna remaster it or something, or
They
just?
they'll probably remaster it, but a lot of people gonna go to it because you want to. Kids these days want to find out what all the hoopla was.
Yeah,
Generation X and baby boomers are gonna go
yeah,
for
probably
nostalgic
to
reasons,
say, but
and,
people say, so
and,
this is
and
supposed to be
film
scary, huh?
students too. Yeah, film students are gonna go see. What was the big deal about it. So I think it's gonna it's gonna bring in a little bit of money. I mean,
All
because
across all across the
that's
country, or just in certain places?
probably the major cities.
Yeah,
Because that's the movie that started with the summer blockbuster.
yeah.
Yeah.
That was the summer blockbuster. That was also the movie that in the black neighborhood killed off black movies back then. Some people don't like
Mm.
the word black exploitation, but
Yeah, I hate that.
it,
Hate
it,
that.
it killed that genre.
A lot of the black cinema because they started the horror kind of genre. The
But
Yeah.
movie.
but I think there's still a lot of. I mean, you bring Jaws back, which is an ancient
Mm-hmm.
movie, and I think you had a lot of junky movies. You have Superman coming out. It's like these stories about Superman. It's like how many
How many
iterations of
times can you
Super?
tell the same song,
You
same
know the
story?
same damn. There's nothing new about Superman. Maybe the design
Except a
of
new
the S.
actor, or maybe a new
Yeah.
Yeah,
actor
that's
doing
it.
it.
We
I
Well,
don't
did.
know. We know what it's got.
Well, that's
this,
why it's not starting with the origin this time. It's like, you know how he got here. We don't need to talk about that. Let's talk about, his first few days as Superman or
well,
Well,
it's
that's
here.
telling
true.
it's telling me
Mhm.
that I'm getting old because this is like how many Supermans have
Oh my
we
goodness.
had
Oh
since?
my goodness.
Let's just start with Christopher
Christopher
Reeve. Let's
Reeve,
not
yeah.
even go
Yeah.
before
Back to
him.
Let's
George
start with
Reeves.
George
Yeah.
Reeves. Let's start with George Reeves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there was a Superman before him in the movie theaters.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, damn, can't you get somebody new?
Or some, I mean, they're all the things they already own this property, so they're just going to keep, wringing it out as much as they can. They don't want to buy a new property. They don't want new superheroes and new worlds, 'cause they don't have to
They
buy a new
just
universe.
they just want to sell popcorn.
That's
Yeah, they don't
all.
want to buy a
Well,
new universe.
well,
That's
also
all.
what they've done is like an in-house retcon because they can just change it around again, and then you forget about the one. You forget about Brandon Ruth. You forget about.
Hmm.
It's hard for people to remember Henry Cavill now. So
Hmm. But see, I
Well,
remember
not.
Henry Cavill more than Brandon Ruth.
I said, let's move on from the Superman thing.
But then, because Henry Cavill's done so many different roles, he does Witcher, you know, he does
mhm.
Superman. He does something else. He's slated for doing.
He did Mission Impossible.
So I mean, yeah, he's out there doing a whole bunch of different stuff. So I think a lot of times what they used to want to do is if you were a character in someone's universe, they kind of didn't want you playing a whole bunch of different other roles, and especially not action roles.
Well,
You
yeah, I
know.
think that's right.
Hmm.
Actors used to say, well, I don't want to play that role because then I get typecast. But I think you're right,
Right.
Penelope.
Hmm.
The studios did that. They don't want you to play any other
Yeah.
role.
Right. Because they don't want you to do action roles if you're their action star. Stay in this little confined box to be our action star. You know. So I think yeah, I mean we get a little bit off of our topics, but about dinner and a show, but all these things that draw you to the theater, and this is one of them. The food. I think if somebody told me that if there was a movie theater, it didn't serve food at all, do you think that you would go? If they charged you just a little bit less, for the ticket, would you go
They
to a
could charge me.
theater if the theater
They could
charged a
charge me
little
this.
less?
They could charge me the same amount of money if it's a movie theater that didn't serve any food at all. I still
Mm-hmm.
go.
Okay, all right. I mean, if you have a choice between one that serves food and doesn't serve food, and they charge the same price, would you go to the one that serves food or the one that doesn't, or does it not matter?
Doesn't matter. I'm going to see the movie, not the meal.
Okay.
Well, with
Uh,
me,
Then to me,
yeah, I
Mr.
would
Scrooge,
like the
Mr. Food
option.
Scrooge. Yeah, I
I
like
would
the
like the
option.
option. You
Yeah,
know,
if I want something to eat and I feel like I want a snack, I want to be able to get up. So the difference to me would be the movie experience, like what kind of effects they have on the movie. Is it widescreen? Is it
mhm.
surround sound?
I'm
That
saying
is it
that we're going
me?
to save all, and I'm saying this question is like all things being equal. One serves food and one does not. Would you go to
Mm.
the one that serves food or the one that does not? I mean, we know Cranston would say, "Yeah, I'm going to the one that doesn't serve food because it make a difference to me anyway. 'Cause I'm not going to eat it." But if you
But it's the same
were,
price though.
yeah, but you're the one who said the same price, it would be fine for you either way. I said the
No, no,
place
no, no.
serves
I'm saying,
less.
yeah. I'm saying if I would have I would be either way except for the one with the food. I agree with James. I like if I want to get a bucket of popcorn, I could. If I not, no, no.
Okay. How about you, Sonia?
Depends on what I'm going to go see. There are some movies that just are popcorn flicks. They're
Yeah.
if I'm going to see a popcorn flick, I might as well go to the one in food. If I'm
So
going to
just
go see high theater film, I don't need popcorn for that.
or for a documentary of some sort that
Yeah,
you may not feel
Or
that
you going to
that's
see Schindler's List or something? You need to.
yeah,
yeah, okay.
something like
Do
that.
I
I
need?
don't want. I don't need food. But
Do
if
I need
I'm
a
going
hot
to a
dog?
pub, as long as it's all beef, including the casing.
Mm,
Um, but if I'm going to a popcorn flick, of course I want popcorn.
mm-hmm.
That's the whole point of going to a popcorn flick.
Okay. Okay, Nikki, I know you're not a big buff like going to films, but if you did go, you know, would it matter whether or not they served food or or
It wouldn't
not?
matter if they did or they didn't. I would still. I mean, if it's something I want to see, I'll go.
Okay. Well, cool. All right, y'all.
But I cannot see myself saying, the cinematography was kind of choppy and the editing was bad, but
Here we go.
that Chateaubriand, that was fantastic.
You know what? I knew you just had to say something. Okay, great, great.
He
Cranston just
despises people that eat
But
in movie theaters.
no, and he
Despises them.
really. I mean, you're hearing the disdain in his
Man,
voice.
Cranston,
Oh my
you
God.
better listen. If you go to a theater that he in, you better not eat. Don't let him see you eating anything at all. 'Cause he
Sit
gonna
as
like,
far from him as possible. Forget about the
yeah,
Siskel and Ebert seats.
Yeah.
You have to give that up for loss because that's where he's
Mhm.
going
like
to be sitting.
damn.
It's just
He looks
move
he
to the
looks
back.
over you while you're eating a hot dog and whispers in your ears, I despise you.
Mm.
Like, God
I
damn.
stop eating that hot dog.
Yeah.
It's like, damn, man.
Well, you learn something new every day about
Yeah.
people.
Wow.
Wow, man.
He got
All
damaged
right.
as a kid, but you
Yeah.
know what
Yeah.
though?
Huh?
His experience, the Cranston experience that he said, is like no experience I've ever heard before in my entire life
Mm.
regarding
I
eating as a kid.
know.
Yeah,
It's
Oh,
really
yeah.
yeah.
kind of yeah. You learn
I
something
ain't
new
never heard
every
no shit like that before.
day.
Oh, yeah.
I thought I was bad with my pops and the colored sheet. Oh,
Oh
the
Mhm.
no, that
sheet.
beat that. That beat that.
No.
I mean, Cranston's father, like he want his food cooked like shortly before the movie. It's like,
Wow. Wow, man. I can
You see
Yeah.
understand.
somebody flipping
and then
burgers in the darkness.
yeah, he wants
Yes.
to
I always said
he wants to put his food together. He wants to put the food
Oh
together
my
during the
God.
film.
Wow.
there was a McDonald's thing they had where you could do that. They would just give you all the ingredients of your Big Mac in a box, and then you put it together yourself. I said
Yeah.
my mother invented that because she had to assemble these hamburgers in the
Yep.
dark.
Yep. Wow, man.
Damn.
That is
And you
certainly
know, it's
story.
dark in the movie theater. It's dark. It's dark.
Absolutely.
They turn the lights down low.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Advanced darkness, as they would say. So, but
You
okay.
wind up eating your
I'm
own
gonna say,
hand.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna say, at that rate, you might as well just have a tailgate outside the theater.
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
you got to eat it in front of the screen. That's the point. That's not going to work. You have to have it
Tailgate
while
party.
you're watching. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
milkshake had to be cold, hamburger had to be hot, lettuce had to still be crunchy, and the
Chris,
French
yep.
fries good and warm.
Damn.
Mm.
Yeah.
Wow. I understand your trauma,
Hmm.
Prince.
I know
I
it,
do
man.
not judge you.
I
I do not
sympathize
judge
with you
you.
now.
Hmm.
You've been harmed in a harmful
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
I'm still
Yeah.
in therapy for that, but I'll get over it. I'll get over it eventually.
Wow. All right, y'all. Well, I'm looking at a clock and we're getting down to it. Thank you all so much. This has been a great and a lot of fun show. We found out some very interesting things about each other and our preferences and predilections with regard to our movie food. So we will be back again, same time, same bat channel. Have a wonderful remainder of your weekend. Anybody got birthdays, celebrations, anything coming up that we want to give anybody a shout out for before we go? No? No Junes? I know my
I had one, but I can't remember whose it is now.
Nikki, when is Dot's birthday?
Oh, June 6th.
All right. Happy birthday, Aunt Dot. Happy birthday. And
Yeah.
also for my sister-in-law, Tanya. It's her birthday today. Happy birthday,
Happy
Yay.
birthday,
Tanya. Happy
Tanya.
Happy
birthday.
birthday.
Happy
Yay.
birthday.
Yay. And anybody else has got birthday, any other type of remembrance that they want to shout out, call people out for? Nothing? All right. Well, you all, again, thank you so much for joining us. Again, it's been a lot of fun. We'll be back here again next week. Take care of yourselves. Have a productive week.
Have a nice week, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.